"You have changed, Noah. I am growing as a person, and you are still the same," my girlfriend said while looking at me like I was something stuck to her shoe after I surprised her with dinner to celebrate her promotion. I stayed completely silent, took a photo of her disgusted expression, and calmly started researching her new company's employee handbook. What I discovered about her after hours training sessions with her mentor made her realize she had revealed her true character to the wrong guy. I am Noah, 27, and I honestly don't know what happened to the woman I have been dating for 2 years. Tessa, 25F, just got promoted to senior brand manager at this prestigious marketing firm downtown here in Nashville, and it is like she became a completely different person overnight. I work as an account manager at a mid-size marketing company. Nothing fancy, but it is stable. I am good at what I do, and I have been there 3 years. Tessa used to be a junior marketing coordinator at a smaller firm. We met through mutual friends, bonded over work stories, and honestly thought we had something really solid. When she got the promotion 2 months ago, I was so proud of her. I am talking champagne, nice dinner, posted about it on social media calling her my powerhouse girlfriend. She had been working toward this for over a year, studying for certifications, networking, the whole deal. I supported her through all of it. But the moment she started that job, everything changed. It started small. She would come home from work, and instead of telling me about her day like she used to, she had just seemed irritated that I was there. Like my presence in our usual spots was somehow offensive. I would ask how her day went and get one-word answers. Then it escalated. Suddenly everything about me was wrong. My job was small time. My apartment was embarrassing. My friends were immature. The restaurants we used to love were beneath her now. The shows we watched together were mindless garbage. This is the same woman who used to brag about my work to her friends, who loved my place because it was cozy, who planned game nights with my buddies every month, who suggested half those restaurants in the first place. Last week she looked around my apartment, the same apartment she had been staying at 3 nights a week for a year, and said, "God, Noah, don't you want more than this?" Like I was some kind of loser for having a normal 1-bedroom in a decent neighborhood. I keep trying to be supportive. I figured maybe the new job stress was getting to her. Maybe she was feeling pressure to prove herself. I have been giving her space, not pushing for quality time, celebrating every small win she mentions about work. But nothing I do is right anymore. If I plan something nice, I am not understanding her new schedule. If I give her space, I am not being supportive enough. If I ask about work, I am prying. If I don't ask, I am not interested in her success. The worst part is how she talks to me now. There is this condescending tone that wasn't there before, like she is explaining basic concepts to a child. She will say things like "you wouldn't understand." It is a corporate thing about situations that are literally just normal workplace stuff. 2 nights ago was the breaking point. I had had a good day at work, landed a new client that I had been pursuing for months. I was excited to tell her about it. When she got home from one of her late training sessions with her new mentor, I mentioned my win. She barely looked up from her phone and said, "That is nice, honey." The same tone you would use for a kid who just tied their shoes. So I asked her straight up, "Tessa, what is going on? You have been different since you started this job. Did I do something wrong?" That is when she hit me with the line about me not growing as a person. Said I am comfortable with mediocrity while she is evolving. Said maybe we are just growing apart because we are at different levels. Now, different levels. Like success is some kind of hierarchy and she has climbed above me. I have been racking my brain trying to figure out what changed. Is this what happens when someone gets promoted? Do they automatically start looking down on people who were good enough before? My buddy Jordan works at her company, different department. But he has mentioned seeing her around. I am tempted to ask him if she seems different at work too, but I don't want to come across as the insecure boyfriend checking up on her. The thing that really gets me is that I have been nothing but supportive. I celebrated every step of her journey to this promotion. I never once acted threatened or competitive. I thought we were building something together, like we would both grow in our careers and support each other. Instead, I feel like I am dating someone who is ashamed of me, someone who sees me as a reminder of where she came from instead of someone who was there for the journey. Am I crazy for thinking this isn't normal? Do successful people just start treating their partners like shit, or is something else going on here? The training sessions thing is weird too. She has been staying late at work 3-4 nights a week for mentoring with her new supervisor. I get that learning a new role takes time, but it has been 2 months. How much training does someone need? I don't want to be that guy who cannot handle his girlfriend's success, but this doesn't feel like success changing our dynamic. It feels like success revealing who she really is underneath. Edit. Reading these comments. And yeah, some of you are saying things I have been afraid to think. The mentor is Ryan Fletcher, some hotshot director who has been personally developing her skills. Maybe I should talk to Jordan after all. Edit 2. Holy shit, this blew up. To everyone saying emotional affair, I really hope you are wrong, but some of these patterns you are pointing out are hitting too close to home. We'll update after I get some answers. Update 1: been dealing with car trouble so couldn't update sooner, but things have gotten so much worse. Thanks for all the reality checks on my last post. Some of you called things I wasn't ready to see. I talked to Jordan yesterday during lunch. Apparently Tessa's training sessions aren't exactly what I thought they were. Jordan's seen her and Ryan Fletcher, her mentor, having lunch together almost daily. Not group training lunches. Just the two of them, deep in conversation, laughing like old friends. But here is the kicker, Jordan said. He saw them at a wine bar downtown last Tuesday around 8 p.m. I specifically remember that night because Tessa told me she would be working late on strategic planning documents and wouldn't be home until after 10. When I asked Jordan if this seemed normal for mentor relationships at their company, he just gave me this look and said, "Bro, I have never seen any other manager take that kind of personal interest in training someone." So I decided to test something Wednesday night when Tessa said she had another late training session. I asked if she wanted me to bring her dinner at the office since she would be working so hard. The panic in her eyes was immediate. She stumbled through some excuse about how the conference room they use is in a restricted area and visitors aren't allowed. Since when do marketing companies have restricted conference rooms? When she got home that night at 10:30, I mentioned that I had heard great things about Ryan Fletcher from some industry contacts. Asked her what he was like as a mentor. Her whole face lit up. She spent 20 minutes telling me how brilliant he is, how sophisticated, how he is teaching her about real leadership and executive presence. The way she talked about him, I have never seen her that animated about anything, including me. Then she caught herself and got defensive. Said I wouldn't understand the complexity of their working relationship, that mentor relationships are different, and I shouldn't read into her enthusiasm. But the damage was done. I could see it in her eyes. This guy isn't just her boss. He has become her hero. The fights have been getting worse too. Everything I do irritates her now. I made coffee the same way I have for 2 years, and she complained it was too bitter. I suggested we watch a movie we both loved last month, and she said my taste in entertainment was juvenile. Sunday was the worst. Sunday was the worst at brunch. Tessa agreed, but spent the entire meal acting like she was being tortured, made subtle digs about the restaurant being quaint, and kept checking her phone. When my mom asked about her new job, Tessa launched into this whole speech about corporate sophistication and elevated professional standards. My mom looked confused because she has known Tessa for 2 years, and this vocabulary was completely new. On the drive home, I called her out on being rude to my parents. She exploded. "Your parents are lovely, Noah, but they don't understand the world I am operating in now. Neither do you. I cannot pretend to be excited about chain restaurants and small talk when I am building something bigger. Building something bigger. Like our relationship was holding her back from some grand destiny. I asked her if she was happy, if we were still good together, if she wanted to work on whatever was happening between us. She said she didn't know anymore, that she was discovering new aspects of herself and growing beyond her previous limitations. That maybe we weren't compatible at this level. That night she slept on the couch, said she needed space to think. In my own apartment, I have been walking on eggshells for weeks, trying not to set her off. But it doesn't matter what I do. She is looking for reasons to be annoyed with me, like she is building a case for why this relationship doesn't work anymore. I think I know what is happening. I think she is falling for Ryan Fletcher and trying to make me the villain so she doesn't have to feel guilty about it. But I cannot prove anything, and confronting her without proof will just make me look like the insecure boyfriend who cannot handle her success. I love her, but I am starting to realize the woman I fell in love with might not exist anymore. Or maybe she never existed at all, and success just revealed who she really was underneath. Edit. Jordan texted me an hour ago. said he saw Tessa and Ryan at another restaurant tonight. It is Thursday. She told me she was having dinner with her sister. I haven't confronted her yet, but my hands are shaking typing this. Edit 2. She just walked in smelling like wine and some cologne I don't recognize. When I asked about dinner with her sister, she said they ended up meeting some of her sister's co-workers. I am not stupid. Update coming soon. Update 2: power was out at my place for 3 days due to storm damage, which honestly gave me time to think without distractions. But when everything came back online, I had messages that confirmed what I had been afraid to admit. Jordan sent me screenshots that changed everything. Apparently his girlfriend follows Ryan Fletcher on Instagram, and she had been seeing stories that didn't match up with what Tessa was telling me. Photos from restaurants I had never heard of. Wine tastings, even a concert last weekend when Tessa told me she was homesick with a headache. But the real clue came from an unexpected place. Remember Rose, Tessa's sister? She called me on Tuesday for a normal chat, and only after we'd been talking for a bit did it slip out that the dinner Tessa mentioned had never actually happened. Turns out Tessa hasn't seen Rose in 3 weeks, but she has been using sister dinner as her alibi for these evening training sessions with Ryan. Rose was pissed that Tessa was using her as cover for whatever she was actually doing. I finally had enough evidence to confront her. Wednesday night when she came home from another work emergency, I asked her directly, "How was dinner with Rose?" She looked me right in the eye and said, "It was good. We went to that new place on Broadway." I waited a beat, then said, "Funny, because Rose called me yesterday asking why you have been lying about having dinner with her." The color drained from her face. She tried to backtrack, saying she had gotten confused about which night, that work stress was making her memory fuzzy, but we both knew she was caught. That is when everything came out. She admitted she had been spending time with Ryan Fletcher outside of work. Networking, she called it. Professional development. Said it was all about building her career and I was being small-minded for not understanding. I asked her if she was attracted to him. She got defensive and said attraction wasn't the point, that this was about her professional growth and learning from someone successful. But when I asked if she had told Ryan she had a boyfriend, she went quiet. "It hasn't come up," she finally said. 2 years together, and it hasn't come up in conversation with the man she has been spending 45 evenings a week with for 2 months. I lost it, asked her if she was kidding me. How does a boyfriend of 2 years not come up when you are getting dinner and drinks with another man constantly? She said, "I was being possessive and insecure. That successful people network differently, and I wouldn't understand, because I am not operating at that level." There it was again. That condescending bullshit about levels. I told her she was having an emotional affair. She lost her mind, said I was being dramatic and controlling. That Ryan was just a mentor and I was sabotaging her career growth by being jealous. But then I asked the question that broke everything open. If this is just professional mentoring, why have you been lying about it for 2 months? She couldn't answer. Just kept saying I didn't understand. That it was complicated, that I was making it into something it wasn't. I told her she had a choice to make. Either cut contact with Ryan outside of necessary work interactions, or we were done. No more dinners, no more wine bars, no more networking sessions. Professional only. She said I was giving her an ultimatum and that wasn't fair, that I was asking her to sabotage her career because of my insecurities. I said no. I was asking her to stop dating another man while claiming to be in a relationship with me. She started crying then. Said she never meant for things to get complicated. That Ryan was just exciting and inspirational and being around him made her feel sophisticated in a way she had never experienced. There it was. The truth. This wasn't about career development. This was about Ryan making her feel like she was better than her old life. Better than me? I asked if she loved him. She said she didn't know, but that what they had was intellectually stimulating in a way our relationship wasn't anymore. Intellectually stimulating. 2 months ago, she thought I was smart enough to help her practice for her interview. Now I am apparently too dumb to provide intellectual stimulation. I told her to pack her stuff and leave. She begged me to reconsider, said she had made a mistake but could fix it. But when I asked if she was going to tell Ryan about our conversation and cut contact, she hesitated just long enough for me to know the answer. She is staying at her friend Michelle's place now. Been texting constantly about how sorry she is, how confused she got, how she wants to work things out, but she still hasn't cut contact with Ryan. Jordan confirmed they had lunch again yesterday. She doesn't want to fix our relationship. She wants to keep both options open while she figures out which one benefits her more. I am done being someone's backup plan while they test drive a newer model. Edit. Got a call from Tessa's mom asking what happened. Apparently Tessa told her family that we broke up because I couldn't handle her success and was threatened by her career growth. I set the record straight about the emotional affair. Her mom seemed genuinely shocked. Edit 3. Ryan Fletcher is 32, divorced, and according to Jordan's research, has a reputation for mentoring attractive new hires. This apparently isn't his first rodeo. Update coming because this story gets worse. Final update had to get a new phone last week, which reminded me I never gave you guys the conclusion to this mess. Some of you have been asking for updates, so here is how everything played out. Tessa made her choice pretty quickly after our last conversation. She called me 3 days after I kicked her out and said she had been doing some soul searching and realized we were fundamentally incompatible now that she was operating at a higher professional level. Translation: she picked Ryan. She fed me some bullshit about how she had outgrown our relationship and needed someone who could match her intellectual capacity and understand her career ambitions. Said she hoped we could remain friends because she valued our time together. I told her we had said everything we needed to say and hung up. 2 weeks later, her relationship status changed to in a relationship with Ryan Fletcher. Not even subtle about it. Posted photos from some fancy restaurant downtown with captions about finally finding someone who challenges me intellectually. The comments on her posts were hilarious. Bunch of her friends and family acting confused because they had never heard of this guy before. Her own sister commented asking what happened to Noah. Tessa deleted it within an hour. Jordan kept me updated on the workplace drama. Apparently their relationship was the worst kept secret in the office. Everyone knew they had been networking for months before it became official. Some of her coworkers lost respect for her because of how she handled the whole thing. But here is where it gets good. Ryan Fletcher has a pattern. Jordan did some digging and found out he had pulled this exact same move with 2 other women in the last 3 years. Young, ambitious new hires who he would mentor with evening dinners and weekend strategy sessions until they were emotionally invested enough to leave their boyfriends. The relationships never lasted more than 6 months. Once these women had blown up their personal lives for him, he would lose interest and move on to the next attractive trainee. Tessa lasted exactly 4 months. Jordan's girlfriend saw the whole thing implode on social media. One day, they are posting couple photos from some wine country weekend. The next day, Ryan's relationship status is back to single and Tessa's posts disappear entirely. Turns out Ryan had been mentoring another new hire for the last month of their relationship. 22 years old, fresh out of college, probably gave him the same starry-eyed worship that Tessa had. Tessa tried to keep it quiet at first, but word spreads fast in corporate environments. Everyone knew she had been dumped for a younger model. The same woman who had been posting about intellectual connections and finding her equal was suddenly the office cautionary tale. She lasted another month at the company before putting in her notice. Couldn't handle being known as Ryan's ex while watching him play the same game with someone else. That is when she started reaching out to me. Started with subtle likes on my social media posts, then comments about missing the old days, then direct messages about how she had learned so much about herself and hoped we could reconnect as friends. I ignored all of it. Last month she called me directly, said she had made the biggest mistake of her life and wanted to explain everything, that her success had gone to her head and she had lost sight of what was really important. She said Ryan had manipulated her and taken advantage of her ambition, that she had been confused and caught up in the excitement of her new position, that what we had was real and what she had with Ryan was just fantasy. I listened to the whole speech, then asked her one question. If Ryan called you right now and wanted you back, would you take it? The pause before she answered told me everything I needed to know. That is not the point. Noah. He showed me who he really is. No, I said. He showed you who you really are. I told her I wasn't interested in being her consolation prize, that she had made her choice when she decided I wasn't good enough for her new life. That choice revealed her character, and her character wasn't someone I wanted to build a future with. She got upset and said I was being unforgiving and holding a grudge, that people make mistakes and deserve second chances. I told her she was right. People do make mistakes, but choosing to lie to me for months, emotionally cheat with her boss, and then dump me for a higher-level relationship wasn't a mistake. It was a series of conscious decisions that showed me exactly where I ranked in her priorities. She has tried to contact me a few more times since then, but I have kept my boundaries firm. As for me, I am doing better than I ever imagined I would. Got a promotion at work last month, account director with a nice salary bump. Started dating someone new who thinks my job is impressive instead of embarrassing. Funny how that works. The difference is night and day. Rose. Yeah, different Rose is a veterinarian who is more successful than I am, but she has never once made me feel small about it. She asks about my work because she is genuinely interested, not because she is looking for reasons to be disappointed. When she got a big research grant last month, she wanted to celebrate with me, not use it as evidence that she had outgrown our relationship. That is what actual partnership looks like. I saw Tessa at a coffee shop downtown about 2 weeks ago. She looked tired, and when our eyes met, she gave me this sad little wave. I nodded back politely and went about my day. I don't hate her anymore. I just don't think about her anymore. And that feels a lot better than the anger I carried for months. Edit. For everyone asking, yes, Ryan is still pulling the same moves with new hires. Some patterns never change. And yes, Tessa is still bouncing between jobs trying to find somewhere that doesn't know her story. Edit 2. Someone asked if I would take her back if she showed up tomorrow. Genuinely changed. Honestly, the person I am now knows better. That version of me who loved her died when she said I wasn't good enough for her new life. The person I am now deserves better than someone who has to lose me to realize my worth.